Welcome to the speaking section of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. We are conducting the exam in Hamburg. The time right now is 14 o'clock. This is candidate number 99748125. The speaking has three parts. I will give you instructions for each. May I see your identification?
Yes, of course. Here's my ID card. Please have a look.
Can you just hold it up for me? And what is your full name?
My first name is Emilia and my family name is Müller. Please call me Emilia.
Okay, Emilia. For part one, I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. Do you work or study?
I'm currently a high school student and will be graduating in a year's time. After graduation, I plan to go to university for a Bachelor of Science degree.
What do you do at the weekends?
On Fridays, I usually meet up with my friends and hang out. We watch a movie or go for a teen swim. On Saturday and Sunday, I do my homework assignments, spend time with my family and friends, or go on some kind of adventure. I went skiing last weekend.
Right from the start, we can see and hear that Emilia is a Band 9 level user of the English language. She speaks not only fluently, but uses polite and professional language, even with the warm-up questions. Notice how she answers the question, "May I see your identification?" in a polite and professional way, stating, "Yes, of course, here is my ID that I had used to register for this IELTS exam." Immediately, she uses complex sentences. When asked whether she is studying or working, she says, "Currently, I'm a high school student about to graduate in a year's time. After that, I will be attending university for my Bachelor of Science degree." It's using this conjunction of time after high school, I will be completing a Bachelor of Science degree, that gets those high band scores. The examiners are listening for a variety of connectives, so make sure to learn subordinating conjunctions, correlative conjunctions, and coordinating conjunctions. These are different ways to link phrases into complex sentences. The best way to learn this is with practice, and practicing with our partner, Cambly, is a great way to do that. We have joined up with Cambly to bring you world-class English practice, one-on-one with tutors from US, UK, Canada, and Australia. You can choose group classes, individual classes, or even classes for kids. Use this code to get a 50% discount on one-year plans. Simply click the link in the video description. I have tried Cambly and found it to be extremely useful for preparing for the IELTS exam. Download Cambly today and begin learning for success. Now, on to the rest of part one.
What are your hobbies?
Well, as I just mentioned, I like to ski. I also like watching movies or play some video games. I'm really into the series right now called Cleo on Netflix.
How often do you play sports?
I play sports multiple times each week, both in school and extracurricular activities. I'm in my school's volleyball team and I swim competitively.
Are there any sports that you would like to try?
Yes, absolutely. I would like to give snowboarding a go. I've been skiing since many years and I feel it would be an exciting change, so I've decided next year to give it a try.
When is a good time for you to go on a trip?
Since I'm a student, usually the weekends, the holidays, and summer, winter and spring break are the best time for me to go travel, because I do not have to worry too much about assignments. I have lots of fun to chill out and have fun. This summer I'm planning to go to Portugal to hang out on the beach with my friends.
Have you ever traveled to a tropical country?
Yes, I have. I've been to the Maldives with my family. It's a beautiful place with lush jungle and delicious tropical fruit. I really enjoyed the ocean there and I would like to go back one day.
If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
That's a hard question. There are lots of places I would like to go, but if I were to choose just one, it would be Tokyo, because it's the ultimate mega city and I think it would be like traveling in the future in some sense. It would not only be exciting, but lots of fun as well.
That is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2 for this.
For the rest of part 1, Amelia continues to be a Band 9 caliber candidate. She is confident and fluent, keeping her hands on the table and expressing herself with a loud, clear voice. Notice how her range of grammar continues to expand with each question. She not only forms complex sentences with the independent and dependent clause, but she's able to switch that to the dependent and independent clause. Like with the question, when do you usually go on holidays? And she starts with the dependent clause. Since I am a student, I usually go on holidays during the weekends and during vacations. It's this dynamic use of complex grammar that gets you those higher band scores. Again, remember the subordinating conjunctions that break into 4 categories: cause and effect, time, condition, and opposition. Make sure to practice these and practice not only the independent, dependent, or main and subordinate clause, but also practice reversing this, stating the subordinate clause followed by the main clause. Furthermore, Amelia reflects the grammar of questions. When asked, "Have you ever traveled to a tropical country?" she immediately recognizes that this is present perfect and states, "Yes, I have." Learn this trick to get that point when you get a question in the present perfect. Have you ever? Yes, I have. No, I haven't. In this way, the examiner knows that you can understand and use this type of grammar. The next question is a conditional. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you like to travel? Here again, Amelia does a good job reflecting both the condition and the content, stating that if I could choose just one place, I would travel to Tokyo. Also notice that in this answer, she makes a mistake but corrects herself. Self-corrections are a great way to reach those high Band 8, Band 9 scores. Make sure that if you make a mistake, whether in part 1, 2, or 3, you stop and correct yourself. Don't say sorry, don't apologize, just make the correction and move on. Now, let's look at part 2.
For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these. Think about your answers, then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. You can take notes in the 1 minute time if you wish. You have some note paper there and your pencil. Please do not touch the questions. Talk about a computer game that you have played. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
I've been playing Call of Duty for a few years now. One of my friends got me into it in grade 9 and I have been playing it ever since. This is a first-person shooter game and there are several versions of it. The most recent one is Modern Warfare 2. Basically, in this game, I'm a soldier that runs around on different maps, completing different missions. I really enjoyed the multiplayer area online, where I can prove myself against other combatants. I know this doesn't sound too girly, but whatever. I like to get really competitive and I think I'm pretty good at it. I have a great ranking and it's always lots of excitement when I get a couple of hours to play. I usually play in the evenings and on the weekends for a few times each week. I would say around 5 hours or so. I'm getting quite busy with studies these days, so I don't get as much as time to play as I used to. My favorite part is not only really exciting, but it also requires a lot of strategy to outsmart other players. The graphics and sounds are outstanding. The game develops quick analytic thinking as well as hand-eye coordination while having tons of fun. I don't think this game is for everyone because it's quite violent and fast. But however, if a person is really into FPS games, Call of Duty is definitely a game to try. I'm sure I will be playing these games with my friends for a few more years to come.
Your time is up. I will stop you there. Can you please turn over your note paper, put it to the side? And we'll take back the questions and we will now continue with part 3.
Amelia delivers a brilliant response for the cue card question about a video game that she has played. Firstly, she does not use templates to start her response. She specifically tackles the question, stating that she loves to play the game Call of Duty. She doesn't start by saying, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity," or "There are lots of video games, but the one I'd like to talk about today." These kinds of template responses waste time and get lower band scores. In this case, Amelia gets straight to the point. She has structure, a beginning, a middle, and an end to her story. Even though she makes 1 or 2 slight pronunciation mistakes, like saying Strategie, which is more of a German pronunciation for the word strategy, this is okay. Band 9 doesn't mean it's perfect. It just means it's expert level. And certainly, we can conclude that this is an expert level response. Notice when she comes to the end of her story, she uses a concluding sentence, saying, "I am sure that I will continue to play Call of Duty for many years to come." She gives specific details and no repetition throughout her entire response. This sets up a great foundation for her answers in part 3. In order to learn these strategies when talking about video games or about people, places, ideas, make sure to use our premium IELTS package at aehelp.com, where our interactive course will explain how to structure and talk about different topics. Now, on to part 3.
For this part, I will ask you a question related to your response and some questions connected to the topic of part 2. When is the last time you played this game?
I played it yesterday for a couple of hours just to decompress and get my mind off this exam that I can get a good night's sleep.
Let's talk about digital games. What are different types of video games that are popular for people?
Aside from first-person shooter games like Call of Duty, some other genres that millions of gamers play are role-playing, FIFA, Sims, or simulators. I've got many friends who are at least into one of these types of games.
Why do people like playing video games?
I think it is both a way to escape the everyday stress of life while also becoming immersed into a fantasy world full of adventure and fun. This is definitely one reason I like to play Call of Duty.
Some video games are very realistic and violent. Do you think it is okay for children to play these types of games?
Well, Call of Duty is definitely in this type of category, very realistic and violent. So I have some ideas around this. I certainly do not think that people under the age of 14 should be allowed to play these games. There are parental rating advisories on these games. Many of them are labeled with large letter M, meaning that it is intended for a mature audience.
Video games are educational. Do you agree with this?
Yes, I do, and some more than others. There are lots of video games that are designed with teaching and development in mind. Typeland is an awesome app that teaches to not only type, but also English vocabulary and grammar through different kinds of typing games.
Should computer games be allowed in school as a teaching aid?
To elaborate further on my previous answer, absolutely. I think that computer games should not only be allowed, but they should be encouraged in schools from as early as grade 1. I mean, we live in the digital age, and people and students who do not incorporate their use of computers in their educational arsenal may fall behind in critical skills in society. And what better way to do this than to teach through gaming?
How do you think video games will change in the future?
I think games will become more realistic. Even COD has come a long way since its first release. The more modern versions offer better details and faster graphics. I'm sure that these improvements, both graphics and gameplay, will continue to get better. Also, I'm sure that VR play will become more and more popular as this technology advances.
Will this have more benefits or negatives for people?
That's tough to say. When people become addicted, that's a serious problem for mental and physical health. And if games in the future will make people even more addicted, then that's a cause for concern. However, games of the future will also have the potential to improve education and development. So I think we will just have to wait and see.
That is the end of part 3. That concludes the speaking section of the exam. You will have your mark in 2 days online after you finish the other sections, and you will have your official certificate in the mail in about 10 days. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Amelia does an awesome job of performing at a high level in part 3. She speaks fluently, giving explanations and examples. Most importantly, she's connecting her answers with her part 2 ideas. Notice how almost for every question, she's able to make a reference to playing Call of Duty. In the examiner's marking sheet, there's a criteria that part 3 should sound natural and conversational. This means that it should not just sound like an awkward question and answer session where the information is separated. It should sound like a unified conversation. And in this case, Amelia does that by giving examples. Remember what I said, that her part 2 answer is a great foundation for her part 3 ideas. In the first question, when asked about different types of video games, she gives several answers saying simulators and first-person shooter games. And then at the end, she says, "This is the reason I like playing Call of Duty." It's this smooth example that connects her ideas, which gives her that perfect Band 9 score. When asked about how video games might change in the future, again, she creates a strong connection with previous questions about the role of video games in education. She states that although there is a risk that video games might become more addictive because they're even more fun and engaging through virtual reality, they also have the potential to be even more educational and help development. And then follows that with a concluding sentence. She says, "We will just have to wait and see." This is very nice, natural English. And in this way, the examiner knows that she has finished her thoughts. It's a comfortable conversation where the examiner isn't forced to interrupt the candidate. Being interrupted multiple times is not a good way to get a high score. Make sure to give answers, explanations, examples, and conclude your ideas. Practice these strategies at home, and you too can get a great score the next time you sit your IELTS exam. Get over 100 hours of video lessons with strategies for success on your next IELTS exam, including original exams, an interactive course, and an app for your phone. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. Use the code GAMER9 for an additional 10% discount by clicking on the link in the video description below. We are an IDP affiliate, British Council partner, IELTS Test Registration Center, and I'm a certified British Council agent. We have helped thousands of students succeed on IELTS for school and immigration. Become one of our success stories. Join today. Subscribe to our channel. Click over here. Watch another video. Click right up here. And click our IELTS Hero to join our premium package and get access to all of our videos, practice exams, and a fully interactive course.